before the dog token goes live. So before it's tradable, we're going to push the site so that way everybody can start staking the non-native and people are able to use the website when it does go live to buy. This way, you know that you're not accidentally using the wrong contract address or you're not falling for any scams or anything like that. Now, you can choose to buy a PancakeSwap as well. So you know the address, the dog's address is in the pinned comments in the Animal Farm chat, and you can get that and you can put that into PancakeSwap, and we're already listed, right? The liquidity is already there. We're already listed, so that's all taken care of. And I'm going to start a short countdown at 1 o'clock, just so everybody is on the same page as far as exactly when it gets unpaused. So at 1 o'clock, I'm going to start a 10-minute countdown. And when that 10-minute countdown hits 0, I'm going to unpause the dog token. By that time, the site will already be pushed. So it will already be available for you to use the website to buy dog tokens when we unpause. So basically, it's going to go like this. Let me just explain from start to finish. So at 1 o'clock, we're going to push the new site. That's going to allow for people to use the drip liberation contract on the new site. That's going to allow people to start migrating. And that's going to allow people, and when I say migrating, I mean migrating from the V1 to the V2 contracts. There's a few people. It's not a ton of people that are going to be doing that, but for the people that are doing that, you'll be able to do that, and you'll be able to stake in all the non-native farms and pools, and you'll be able to click on the buy dog button, but it will still be paused. That's at 1. And then we'll set a 10-minute timer at 1, and when that 10-minute timer is 0, I'm going to unpause the dog token. You'll be able to start buying the dog token, trading it, and not only buying the dog token, you'll be able to start adding liquidity. Now, when you add liquidity to the dog token, make sure you're doing it through our site. So if you try to do it through PancakeSwap, it's going to fail because most likely, unless you went into advanced settings and allowed unlimited slippage and all this stuff, but most likely it's going to fail if you try to do it on PancakeSwap because it's going to try to tax you, but due to the tax being so high, it's going to fail because you need to set your slippage above what the allowed. You need to set your allowed slippage above what the tax is, and they don't allow you to do that unless you go into advanced settings and do a bunch of stuff like that. So it's not going to allow you to mess up. Is what I'm saying. You're not going to accidentally get taxed 90%. Because you do something on PancakeSwap. It will fail if you try to do that. So what you need to do to add liquidity to the dogs token is utilize the add liquidity dashboard on our site. And that dashboard is whitelisted to and from. So what that means is when you send your dog tokens and when you send your BUSD to this contract to parent, the dog tokens are going to be whitelisted, so you're not going to be taxed on adding this liquidity. And it will handle that for you, and it will give you the LP tokens. Now, removing liquidity, there is a 6% tax. But you have to remove the liquidity through our site. Or you can do it through the contracts, obviously. Like if our front end went down or anything like that, you can always do it through the contracts. But what I'm just saying is if you do it through our site, it's going to apply the proper tax. And if you try to do it through PancakeSwap, either there will be no tax if you're buying, say, or it will most likely fail because it's not going to allow you to wrongfully get taxed 90%. So that is the process as far as what's going to happen as soon as we go live. And then we set the emission timers to start at 2 p.m. EST. So 1 hour after the site is pushed and 15 minutes after we unpark the dog token, the emissions will start. And they're going to start at restricted. So the DCAA, the Dynamic Supply Control Algorithm, is, or DSCS, is accounting for the current price of the dog and pig tokens, and I believe that they'll both start at restricted. I know the dog token will definitely start at restricted. The pig token has made a nice little pump, so it might start at the standard peg rate. But regardless, the APYs will most likely start off significantly high because the APYs are based on the amount of tokens allocated each block to those pools and the amount of people that are in the farms and pools. But of course, as those farms and pools fill up, the APY will start to reduce. Keep in mind that we adjusted the emission rates on the new platform to work with the new game theory. So previously, there was no vesting. There was no variable tax vesting model that is creating all of these dividends for the pig pen, and there was no dog pound. So there was no B&B dividends at all. And the main motivation for the average user was to either put their pig tokens in the pig pen to claim BUSD or dump them on the market. And people were dumping pigs on the market as well because there was no vesting model, which was creating high B&B and BUSD dividends, and the emission rates were set to account for this. Now, in the new model, the emission rates, so the amount of the inflation associated with the dog and pig tokens, has been reduced significantly. So the pig emission rate has been reduced by about 90%, and the dog emission rate has been reduced by about 60%. And the reason why is because the new game theory is designed to cause price appreciation, and then that price appreciation results in a higher B&B and BUSD dividend payout. So previously, the incentive structure was you're farming dogs and pigs. You're farming them at an APY of like 200 APY dogs and like 400 or 500 APY pigs, and then people have to decide, okay, do I want to use my dogs to farm pigs and then put my pigs in the pig pen, which has a few $1 million worth of BUSD to pay up at of 3% a day, or do I just want to dump these dog and pig tokens because there's a relatively high inflation rate, and maybe I can make more from dumping them than I would through staking. Now with the new vesting model, there's very little incentive to farm to sell because the APYs and the inflation rate and the APY associated with the dog and pig tokens that are being paid out as a reward are relatively small, and the APYs in BUSD and BNB are very high. So it's been basically we turned the incentive structure on its head based on what we learned from V1. So now the full way to benefit from the platform is to both buy dogs, buy pigs, stake those dogs, stake those pigs, and farm them. I would say farm if you have non-native assets like non-native LPs or single asset LPs, farm those dogs and utilize those dogs to increase your position in pigs. Don't dump them on the market. If you first of all, the emission rate, the APY that you're earning in dogs is when I say relatively small, it's still greater than you would earn in pancake swap. It's still more significant than you would earn in like any of the bridges or really any of the other high quality farms. So it's still higher than that, but it's much lower relative to one. And the reason for this is because the incentive is no longer to be farming these dog and pig tokens to dump them on the market to earn your profit. Uh, on dogs, it would make no sense to do that because of the 90% tax. And that means the dog token is going to rapidly appreciate in price. And then the higher the dog token appreciates in price, when someone does do a dog transaction, the USD and BNB that's being generated for the dividend in the pig pen is that much greater. So you're heavily incentivized now to utilize those dog tokens to earn pigs and collect that BUSD that's being generated both through the back-end lending, the deposit withdrawal fees, but also through the dog transaction tax, which is much more significant than it was, and is set up in a way where the dividends increase as the price increases. And I would say the most optimal way to utilize your dogs would be in the auto compounding dog pound, because you're earning the BNB associated with the transactions, but you're also still utilizing them to earn pigs, and you're earning those pigs in a compounded interest format because your BNB is being utilized by dogs and compounding it back into your pigs BNB master chef position. But keep in mind that the BNB associated with this with the dog pound is coming from the transactions of dogs. So initially, most likely there won't be that many dog transactions. So at least not many sell dog transactions. So you don't want to just utilize your dogs in the auto compounding dog pound because you want to be earning as many pigs as you can from day one. So this is why I was saying that I think the optimal way to take advantage from the system would be to buy dogs, take half the dogs, put them into the auto compounding dog pound, and take the other half and pair them with BUSD, get right into that dog's BUSD pool. That way, you have a position in a farm right away that's earning pigs, and also you have some of your dogs that are having the tax used on them every day, and as that BNB comes in over time, you'll also be earning that BNB and compounding into the dog's BNB pool. And so everybody knows the LP crediting that was done, about 30% of the people that could have claimed LPs claimed LPs. So that means we have a significant amount of LPs which were not claimed that we can utilize to pump the price of dogs, but also inject BNB into the dog pound. So even though there won't be many transactions sell for dogs from the start, I don't believe I can predict the future. But I mean, if there is, that's bullish because it's just more BNB to go in. And if there's not, that's also bullish because that means the dog's price is going to be appreciating like crazy. So either way, it's bullish. But we can inject a decent amount of B&B capital into the dog pound right from the start, just to ensure that there are some B&B payouts from day one. So it's extremely exciting. We have a dogs token promotion going up on Dex Tools. I believe that will be going up tomorrow. Today, we have a bunch of social media blasts going out. A bunch of influencers on various social medias will be making promos and just getting the word out there. We have a lot lined up as far as like banner ads and articles and everything coming in the next over the next couple weeks. Another really big thing is we have connected with the PR firm that is a very high level fintech PR firm, and they can get placements on Bloomberg. And when I say Bloomberg, I'm talking about the TV channel, like 15-minute segments on CNBC, Bloomberg, like a really high level fintech PR firm. And we have a meeting with them coming up, and due to the way that we generate our marketing budget, not only can we afford this, we're not affording it by ever adding sell pressure to our token or needing to sell our native tokens to it. Because the funds we're using for marketing is coming from a small portion of the deposit withdrawal fees, and also the capital rehypothecation that we're lending to PancakeSwap. Now, I don't want us to talk too much about what we have coming after launch. I really want to focus on launch. But let me just say, after launch, we have, very shortly after launch, like in the first few weeks, we have the Roulette game coming. We have an auto-compounding pig pen coming, which will allow you to use the USD you're earning in the pig pen to buy more pigs and compound back into your position, so you're constantly earning compound interest in the form of BUSD. And we have another lending option coming, which is going to be super bullish. It's for single assets. It's going to be a separate pool. It's going to be separate pools. So it's going to be separate BNB and BUSD pools that you can stake in, and it's going to allow you to auto compound into a top project in the space. And I'll talk about that more when we're after lunch and all of that. But it's gonna be big, right? It's gonna be something that's very attractive, not just to whales and the average user, but also to institutions in the space. So it's extremely exciting. I mean, it's on par with like what Yearn is doing on the ERC20 network. We're going to be doing something very similar to that, but on Animal Farm on the BSC network. So yeah, there's so much to come. I'm so excited. Let me just tell my front end guy to start getting prepared. Alright guys, so let me just, there's like twice the people in here that from when I first started talking about the launch process. So let me just go over the launch process. I'm going to hop off in 5 minutes, and maybe Buttertown or someone else can take over, but I just want to go over the launch process. I'm hopping off in 15 minutes, so I can start directing the dev team or do this, do that, do this. So at 1 o'clock, we're going to push the update to the site. That means you'll be able to use Drip Liberation on the new site. That means you'll be able to start staking in the non-native pools and farms. And that means you'll be able to access the buy dogs and access the add liquidity dogs, but the dog token will not be unpaused yet. Then I will start a 10-minute countdown. And And when this 10-minute countdown hits 0, I'm going to unpause the dog token, and that means you'll be able to trade both on PancakeSwap and on our platform. You'll be able to use the dogs dashboard on our platform as soon as the countdown hits 0. Now, you can also add liquidity to the dogs token once it's unpaused, but utilize our front end to add liquidity. This way, you are not being taxed when you do it. Unless you messed with the advanced setting in PancakeSwap, it wouldn't allow you to do it on PancakeSwap anyways, because most of you know this, especially the DeFi veterans, but you have, on PancakeSwap, you have to set the allowed slippage. And if you try to do a transaction that has a high tax, you need to set the slippage to set the allowed slippage more than this tax. And since the tax on dogs when you first hit it is 90%, if you were trying to do some actions, not buying, but trying to do selling or trying to do add liquidity, on the PancakeSwap, it's going to fail because your slippage will not be high enough to do it. That's because it's going to try to apply the tax. But you can do it on our site. And this is so no one accidentally does an action that ends up taxing them where they shouldn't have been taxed. For example, they go to add liquidity, they get taxed, and that wouldn't be a good thing. But luckily, that would happen because it will fail on PancakeSwap unless you go into advanced settings and set unlimited slippage, which most people are not doing. But if you use our site to do it, you have nothing to be concerned about because our ad liquidity contracts are whitelisted, so there's no tax applied at all. You just utilize them, and it's all good. So as soon as the dog token is unpaused, you can buy it on our site. You can buy it on PancakeSwap. You can add the liquidity to it on our site. You can stake it in the in the farms and pools, the native ones where you're earning pigs. You can put it in the dog pound. You can put it in the auto compounding dog pound. You can utilize everything once it's unpaused. And then at 2 o'clock p.m. EST, which is 50 minutes after we unpause, that's when the emissions, everything starts. So that's the whole process. And after that, I'm going to jump back in voice chat after the emissions have started and all of that, and just celebrate with everybody, and we'll have a good time in here and just maybe talk strategies or just celebrate the successful launch. But we're 100% ready to go. We have we've been running on a sidechain, which is an exact clone of what we have on mainnet right now for the past week and a half. And there's been over 60 people doing millions of transactions, literally millions of transactions all day, every day. And everything's running flawlessly. Just had a major audit done of all the new contracts, passed flying colors. The couple of steps that we're going to take after launch is our ability to, so of course, we had to make tokens in order to add the liquidity, do the migration, do the credit. So after launch, we're going to burn our ability to mint tokens, which everybody, I'm the only one that has those keys anyways, so no one has to worry about that. Obviously, if I wanted to do something shady, I had all the liquidity when I did migration at one point anyways. I had all of the BNB and all of the BUSD in my wallet when I did the crediting migration and migrated the liquidity. So no one has to be concerned about anything like that because obviously I had all the capital in my wallet for weeks. in the form of BNB USD. So, but anyways, that ability to mint tokens will be burned after launch. We just wanted to keep it throughout the launch process to make sure if we needed to make some kind of accounting change or adjust liquidity or credit someone that was supposed to be credited wasn't, we had the ability to do these things. So that will be burned shortly after launch. And then we're going to migrate the ownership of the Master Chef, the DCAA, and the Strategy Chef contracts to a new managerial contract, which has a 48-hour delay on it. Which means if we add a new pool, if we add a new lending option, basically if we do any of the updates that we can do to make sure we're able to evolve with the times and all of that, there's a 48-hour delay on it. So any change that's made will be public before it's ever made. And this just ensures security and secures a fully decentralized protocol, because all of the most important variables are immutable, but there's a few that are not immutable for the purpose of being able to add partnership vaults, add new lending options, and that's really it. Add the auto compounding pig pen, do these kinds of updates, and that's why we're migrating into something with a 48-hour timer. That way, we still have the ability to evolve and update with the times and all of that, but we can never do it in a way that catches the community off guard. There's always a 48-hour time. So basically what we do is we pass the ownership to a contract, and then when we call the transaction, we call it on the owner contract, and then the owner contract counts down 48 hours worth of blocks and then pushes the transaction. So that's the way it works. So everybody can see the transaction was called to the owner contract 48 hours in advance before it's actually before the change is actually implemented. So this is the things that we're doing to just be a step above the competition and be more decentralized and be more secure than anybody in the space. What else can I talk about? I'm just very excited. We got a lot of promo coming. We got a lot developed, and I mean, this is just. I believe what's going to happen is we have a strong community, so we're going to get a nice bullish pump, and then some of the people that might be sitting on the sidelines that aren't part of the community, but will see us on Dex Tools and see us all around, will then be attracted to it, and then since we have better game theory, better mechanics, better profit opportunities in Pancake Swap and some of these other big farms, over the next few months, I see us just steadily migrating people from those platforms onto our platform. And one of the big reasons for this is because the lending that we're doing allows people to take advantage of these other platforms and make profit from these other platforms while also earn yield in our native tokens with a better incentive structure than any other platform that allows you to earn that yield in BNB and BUSD. So it's just amazing, guys. I'm going to hop off so I can prepare to have the new site pushed in 10 minutes now. And then I'm going to start the countdown. So we're here, guys. It's launch. I'm very excited.